She added, "It's just like a mother. No substitutes allowed." Ooh. She's using kind of a simile in a way here. Kind of. It's all or a metaphor of some kind. She's saying that Button is like her mother. You can't just create a substitute and make it okay. Sort of like Jane can't just be a substitute mom and it would be okay. Laura heard the chokiness in Jane's voice. She felt choked up herself. The swing squeaked as one of them stood up. "Let's look some more. Right now," Jane said. Jane must really love her and must really understand the relationship that she had with her mother. For her to really think about how important it is that they find that button and they look right now. Now? What? You can't even see a thing. "Get some flashlights," Jane said. Laura bit her lip. Should she go out too? But then they'd know she was listening and that she'd heard. She watched the white circles of the flashlights, the dark figures of Jane and Dad crawling through the grass. She could smell the fresh paint. The crickets had stopped singing too, just so they could listen. Oh, look at that illustration. What do you think? Yeah, I think they found it. I think the illustration tells it all. Look how happy Jane looks. And then she heard Jane's excited voice. "I found it! Over here! It must have rolled." She held something up between her finger and thumb. Whoopee! Dad swung Jane round and around, and Jane laughed. "Careful! We don't want to lose it again." "She'll be so happy. You can give it to her at breakfast, Janie." I I don't think so," Jane said. "I don't think she would like it that I was the one who found it. Let's just leave it on the porch, like like a gift from a good fairy." Hmm. So Jane's afraid that if she gave it to her, even though she was the one who really insisted upon looking, that maybe Laura wouldn't be happy that Jane was the one that found it. Why do you think that is? Hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea. I've had lots of students in my classroom before whose mother passed away or whose parents have divorced or split up, and they have a stepfather or a stepmother, and sometimes they have a hard time um, inside loving that other person or that new person, not because they're not good people, but because sometimes they're afraid that if they love their new stepfather or their new stepmother, that maybe they're not remembering how much they love their regular father or their mother or whoever's passed away. But that's not necessarily true. There's enough love to go around for everybody, right? Just because you love your mom or your dad doesn't mean you can't love your stepfather or your stepmother if they treat you well and they love you. But I think Laura's having a hard time with that, and I think Jane is. I think Jane knows that. I'll kind of read that part again. "I don't think so," Jane said. "She won't like that I'm the one that found the button. Let's just leave it on the porch, like a gift from a good fairy." But remember who was listening upstairs. She heard all of that. Laura got slowly back into bed. Whiskers had moved into her warm place, and she slid him over. She lay thinking. Jane's sad voice saying, "It's like a mother. No substitutes allowed." She remembered the soft look on Jane's face today, the way she had understood about the true moments on the string. So much to think about. So much. There's Jane. She's painting the door. There's Laura. They both look so much happier today. Let's see what happened. As soon as she wakened the next morning, Laura went downstairs. Jane was painting the back door robin's egg blue. Like it? She asked. Laura nodded. Already she could see the button right there on the porch. She picked it up and held it tight in her hand. A good fairy must have brought it, Laura said. She noticed that the buttons on Jane's painting shirt were a deep, dark green. Pretty, she thought. Maybe, one day, she'd ask Jane for one of those to put on her memory string. She swallowed. Will you really help me restring the beads, Jane? Jane wiped her hands on a rag and stood up. Any time you want, she said. I'm here. Wow. That's the end of the story. The author left it that way, kind of open-ended in a way, for us to infer how Jane and Laura's relationship might have gone on after this. But I think she gave us plenty of clues right here in this part where she says, Laura noticed the buttons on Jane's painting shirt were a deep dark green. She thought they were pretty. Maybe one day she'd ask Jane for one of those to put on her memory string. I think she's finally accepted that it's okay to love Jane, and that Jane loves her. And that by loving Jane, she's not forgetting about her mom. She's just adding more to that love and that memory on that string. So, awesome, awesome story. So, I hope you enjoyed that one. The Memory String by Eve Bunting. We'll try and do some more videos like this and see if we can get the lighting a little bit better so that we don't reflect on the pictures. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take care.